mysterious death curse washes over the land, driven by a powerful artifact known as the Soulmonger. 4 would-be heroes have been sent to the jungles of Chult to destroy the cause of this terrible affliction. Vale, the half-elven paladin, who's just now learning of his divinely granted powers. Ubo, the total monk from a distant land, who's as quick with his wit as he is with his staff. Brilinya, Aasimar warlock, sent on this quest by her temple, discovering herself in this strange new land. And gunslinger Cole, tiefling artificer and archaeologist who may just dig up more than she bargained for. This motley band of adventurers must work together to brave the poisonous plants, venomous monsters, thundering dinosaurs, and rotting undead of the jungle. Join the omnipotent dungeon master Jake for mini-terrain domain to see if our heroes can find the Soulmonger, uncover the deeper mysteries of Chult, and free the world from the death curse. Welcome to the jungle. Welcome to Chult of Personality.
Hey internets, it's Jake from Mini Terrain Domain, and this is Chult of Personality, a Tomb of Annihilation campaign happening every Sunday night at 8:30 p.m. Eastern right here on twitch.tv/Mini Terrain Domain. And this is episode 58, Somebody's Watching Us. It is, as I said, 58 episodes in, a little over 2 years. We've been searching for the Soulmonger and the cause of the death curse, and it continues in just a moment. First, a couple of quick announcements. As usual, you can see through the scroll at the bottom, or if in the chat you type the words Domain Dice, you'll see all the rules on what are these numbered dice down below, or rather these numbered devils. You, as a reminder, all have 14 domain dice available to you. And that is how a way that you, the audience, can participate by a $5 tip, a 500-bit cheer, subscription, resubscription. For example, in Thursday night's Dawnbringers game, viewer Spike gifted 10 subscriptions to the viewing audience, and that garnered I can't do math. That garnered 10 domain dice for everyone else in that game. So that's quite simply how they work. And the players can use those to re-roll D20s, make me re-roll, and a variety of things that are explained in that little block of text. If you look down in the lower left-hand corner, just below Megan and her character art for Brilinya, you will see the Jasper's Game Day and Initiative Coffee Company logos. You can type !Jasper in the chat, and that's going to bring up a link to Jasper's Game Day and a suicide prevention and awareness through tabletop gaming organization founded right here in my home state of Michigan. All of the money they raise goes to fund crisis centers around the country. And that link connects directly to into the PayPal for the Jasper's Game Day. If you want to help in a different way and get a little something for yourself, you can type !Coffee, and you can purchase Metade Roast Coffee, a wonderful medium Brazilian and Peruvian roast coffee that I have partnered with Initiative Coffee Company through their help action. $3 of every 12-ounce bag that is purchased goes directly into funding Jasper's Game Day and their efforts to fund crisis centers around the country. Quick shout out as well. Look under Connor and his Qualu art in the lower right corner. You'll see D&D Beyond logo. That is because this and all Mini Terrain Domain Dungeons and Dragons streams are powered by D&D Beyond. Thank you to D&D Beyond for giving us insider access. And you can mouse over the game stream at any time and see the character art or rather the character classes and selections, where their hit points are at, all of that good stuff, just mousing over the Twitch stream. And the final thing that I am going to remind you of, as we remind you every game stream, is as we are mental health advocates, strongly advocating for mental health and getting help when you need it, which is why we've partnered with these organizations for the prevention of suicide. If you are struggling with your place in this world, if you need help at any time, just know that you are loved. Your presence on this earth makes a difference, whether or not you know that. You matter. But if you are struggling with that, there are numerous resources available to you where professionals are waiting to help you. In the United States, you can reach out to the National Suicide Lifeline 24 hours a day, 7 days a week at 1-800-273-TALK. That's 1-800-273-8255. And if you are a veteran, you can press 1 after dialing that number and will be connected to a trained veteran professional. Or if you prefer, you can text 741-741. In Canada, you can text the word connect for English or parler for French to 686-868, or you can contact the Canadian Suicide Prevention Service in French or English, toll free, 24 hours a day, 7 days a week, 1-833-456-4566. And again, please do not hesitate to use those resources if you need them. You can type help at any time. It's also going by in the scroll down below as a reminder to bring up those resources again. And there is a link in there as well that will take you to resources for all over the world. Other countries' hotlines are available through that link. So, with that, I think that covers all of the announcements. One last thing, I guess, because I don't promote this enough, but Kaeryn, I know, is actually wearing one of the Chult of Personality t-shirts that is available in our Teespring store, along with, I think I have t-shirts for just about every stream in some way, shape, or form, as well as a few other designs that I created for the Mini Terrain Domain brand. You can get one with the green devil face on it. Check out that link where I typed merch, and you will see all of those great designs. So now I think we're ready to play some Dungeons and Dragons. All right, you have been slowly making your way through the Tomb of the Nine Gods. You have in fact encountered 6 of the 9 trickster gods from legend, 3 of whom are residing in 3 of you. Vale Istafall currently has a internal passenger of the spirit of Obalaka. Brilinya voluntarily welcomed in Ijin the Elmirage, and Taliel recently took on Kubazan, the Frogamoth. Each of them has their own unique characteristics and will not necessarily be quiet inside their heads. Speaking of not being quiet, they have also just recently acquired a wonderful traveling companion in the form of Yak, the completely golden floating human skull, who has, through means as yet unknown, found himself here in the tomb, where he was uncovered by these fine adventurers, and is sticking with them while they ply him with gemstones, which Brilinya just did through a sheer chance using the magical Wand of Wonder. A stream of gemstones came flying out, which Yak the skull greedily devoured. Additionally, you have been following along, finding brass plaques with engraved warnings from a Serac, giving clues to each level of the dungeon. And as you're on this third level, the Vault of Reflection, you have carefully followed the instructions, and they have helped you quite greatly along your ways. Though you did spend quite some time in a Serac's rock tumbler, getting bruised and battered and punctured as you tried to fight your way through a door. Eventually getting out of there, then encountering another puzzle in which you had to manipulate some statues in order to transfer people down into a wall of force protected pit that had a clay column in it. But the strong, virile Qualu volunteered to go down inside there, grabbed the heavy stone chest, and was transported back out of there, where they uncovered yet again a strange treasure they've been finding at every twist and turn in this particular level of the dungeon. They have been finding these 1-inch diameter crystal eyes. So far, they have found 7 of them, with 2 of them most recently turning up from this last chest. And I believe, unless I'm mistaken, you have found the pale purple, the bright green, the red, the iridescent orange. You have not found a red one. An iridescent orange one, dark blue, vibrant purple, pale green, and pink. And mysteriously, somehow you suspect there might be a red one out there somewhere. Also, after that last foray in the rock tumbler and the puzzle, you knew before you entered this area, Vale had scoped out, done a little reconnaissance work through another crawlway, and had identified to the east of the room you are in, there is another room with floating platforms and a large statue at the far of a fiend at the far eastern end. After that last encounter, you decided to take a short rest, and that is where we pick up with the 4 of you, or I should say 5 of you, with your skull companion, who even now, as the hour begins to wend its way down, and I believe all of you mechanically took the short rest before the end of last session. If not, please do so. You, as this hour is sort of winding down, and you've all just been sort of taking it easy, mending your wounds. Mike, you seem like you were confused about the room that you reconnoitered. Do you remember it, or did you do I need to remind you?
No, I do remember it. And I also talked to, or I mentioned it to the rest of the party.
Yes.
How it looked and everything. Although not 100% sure if being turned around as much as I have, that if I would know exactly where it is in relation to where we are now.
Well, I guess that will remain to be seen. As you are finishing up this rest, for perhaps the 20th time, Yak, who has sullenly been floating around the corners of the room, most recently has taken to just gently dunk, 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 floating and bumping his head against the wall right near you, Taliel. After a few moments, turns to you and says, "For the love of all 9 of the trickster gods, can we please get moving again? This is so boring. I would almost rather you put me back on that pedestal in that room. I thought you were adventurers. You don't do anything."
We could arrange that.
Yeah, you think you could get rid of me that easily?
One could hope. But you're right. I think we're all rested, and she looks around at everybody else. shall we?
Where do we have to go to next?
So as a reminder, the room that you are in now, there is the northward entrance is actually the way you came into the room. The shattered door, you can see into the now still rock tumbler room. There's an open 5-foot wide hallway that extends about 30 feet to your west and then turns north, though you're unsure where that goes. And you actually, I would like all of you to roll a perception check.
Eight.
Well,
22.
13.
I rolled a natural 1, so we're just
So
we're off
that's
to
how-
we're off
that's
to
how
a
we're
wicked
gonna start off.
We're starting it off right.
So everybody's sort of doing that. You're doing that thing where you've just come out of this back-to-back encounters, and you decided to sit down after exerting yourself for a while, and you know how hard it is to get back up. Once you get moving, you know you're going to be okay, but it's that first few moments when you stand up and your muscles protest and your back aches and you're all kind of, I think at some point, it's hard to tell if it was Vale, Qualu, or Brilinya, but somebody stands up and you hear an audible cracking of joints as they stand up and just But Taliel, you happen to be closer to that easternmost wall, and you catch a movement out of the corner of your eye, and you catch a sound. As you look, the center of the easternmost wall, a seam appears, and a section of the wall opens, revealing a secret door. A figure, a skeletal hand, reaches, pushing the door open with its back toward you. It comes into the room and then closes the door, turns around, and suddenly sees all of you standing there in the room. Taliel, you're the only one that sees this figure as it immediately looks at you, turns around, and begins trying to grab at the now closed seams of the door that it just closed, like it's trying to open this door back up. This particular skeleton has a somewhat familiar look about it, as you've seen a couple of these before, where the top of their heads have fused metal in the shape of various geometric shapes. This particular one is in the shape of a pentagon. What do you do?
And it's trying to get away from me at this point?
Picture somebody walking into a room and realizing they just walked into the wrong neighborhood and trying to turn around and leave. And that's exactly what this skeleton did. Like, it thought it was walking into an empty room and saw all of you there and was like, oops. Just trying to get back out the door it just closed.
I think I want to hit it over the, like knock it on the back of its head with the pummel of my longsword. So, bank.
All right. It's it's absolutely not doing anything. It's got its back to you, so I'll say you can make an attack with advantage.
That will be a 27.
That is a hit. Now, are you trying to do lethal or non-lethal damage to it?
Well,
because you hit it with your pommel.
Yeah. I'm trying to knock it out, but I realize it's a skeleton, so I guess we're like knock its head off its shoulders or something.
Because you did the pommel, I'm going to have you roll it as an improvised weapon. It'll be 1d4 plus your strength modifier, bludgeoning damage.
So that will be 8.
Physic, jug his memory. Thunk. I think I jugged it too hard. So skeletons are vulnerable to bludgeoning damage. So all of you, as you're getting up, getting ready to leave, you suddenly hear thwack, tang, tung, tung, tung. And turning around towards the sound of it, you would see Taliel standing there with her sword. Sort of in this, she's just finished a pommel strike, and a pile of bones with a skeleton head with a fused pentagon iron shape on its head is just sort of coming to, sort of doing that thing where it goes. Does anybody say anything?
Does this look at all familiar in aesthetic, I guess, to the other skeletons with things on their head that we've
100%. You've had briefly 2 of these, both of which have fallen to the lower depths. One of which was on Dunala's person when he fell through the fan. The other one was kicked, fell over the railing, and fell down the grand staircase to the bottom. This one is now lying on the floor in front of you, with the only place to potentially lose it, an open pit covered by a wall of force. So as of right now, it appears you may actually be able to take possession of the Pentagon skeleton key.
So I think Brilinya would bring that up, that, oh, this looks so familiar to the other ones. It has to be important. We should definitely keep this one this time.
Last time we've seen one of those, we were with Dunala.
So I'm going to, and it's just sitting on the wall of force, right? Just kind of hanging off there.
It's sort of right near the edge of the wall of force. Half on, half off.
All right, walk over and grab it.
Okay. You have a Pentagon skeleton key.
Yeah.
Slightly larger than a human head, because of the fused metal. All right, and you know for sure now there's a secret door in that wall right there that leads to the other room. And you have the hallway to the west. So secret door to the east, hallway to the west. It's your choice.
Perhaps we should go to the east, since Vale... Well, actually, Brilinya wouldn't know that, so never mind.
He told you about it.
Oh yeah, okay. And I guess she could think that that door is the same area, okay, is where he was.
You can only do your ghostly gaze once per day, right?
No, once per short rest.
Oh.
So I could do it again. But
Okay, I'm not saying that thing is powerful, but that is powerful.
yeah.
Dang.
It is indeed.
I actually think that Brilinya would just kind of peek through the east side of the door.
Knowing that there's a secret door there, it doesn't take much to figure out how to get it open. And upon opening it, what room was that? That was over to my map. So, reiterating what Vale saw, is you are looking at a room that is nearly 100 feet in length. It is about 20 feet long or wide. As you open the door, you're actually looking down a staircase that leads down to a balcony. But you can see down into this room. And you see the 5 floating platforms And on the far side of the room, because this room is lit by ever-burning torches, there is a statue of a 15-foot tall hulking fiend with furled wings and clenched fists. Do you go down the stairs? You muted. You're muted.
I think Brilinya would look back and say to the others, I don't know if we have any hints to figure this room out. I think we're on our own for this one. And then she would kind of head down the stairs.
With the golem is still in there, right? Or no?
The golem is trapped below the wall of force in the room you're in.
But I think when we sent Yak, he grabbed something, right? He grabbed the key?
He grabbed the key, and that's what Qualu used to open the chest.
Okay. Do we even need anything else in here? If not, then yeah, I say we move on.
I mean, we've scoured every other room.
True. Well, I mean, and there's still that like one doorway or one opening to the left, right?
Yes.
Would be something to look into. One sec.
All right. Vale, before abruptly staring blankly into space, suggests you could also check the hallway to the west as well.
Qualu, the philosopher, sees a dilemma here. Whether we go east or northwest, we'll have a room at our backs.
I mean, I could just fly over quickly to the statue.
Well,
might
that
be
is
the best.
I would be careful, however, in a room like this, in a place like this, in a tomb like this, with a creator like this.
As you are all still kind of standing in the other room, looking in through this open door, you would remember that Vale also told you that where the floating platforms are, there's about a 60-foot drop to the floor. And this balcony that is nearest you, though you cannot see it from where you are, has a has a rusty lever on the wall.
I'll just fly over quickly. It won't be but a moment.
Very well.
And as she gets ready to fly over, Taliel has got her bow out and ready in case anything, anything goes to attack her while she's mid-flight or anything.
All right, so Brilinya, you're going to just fly across the room.
Yeah, she begins to glow in this light, and she almost, I think she would like jump off the balcony and then moments later have these ethereal wings, if she can, and then just fly across.
I love the cinematic of that, almost like a camera following as you run down the stairs and you sort of leap, and there's just that moment of, and you're illuminated by the ever-burning light, and then your wings unfurl, and with just a couple of quick, I mean, you have a fly speed of 60, right? Or is it only 40? 30? You have a fly speed of 30? So just little more than half a dozen beats of your wings, and you alight on the platform in front of this massive 15-foot tall fiendish statue. Its wings are furled against its back, and each of its fists are clenched closed. However, as you are flying across the room, you notice you're flying over top of these 5 platforms that seem to just hover in the space. You catch sight about midway through the room of a humanoid figure with a splay of items around it 60 feet below. It looks like somebody at some time failed to leap across these platforms. And something is glinting in the firelight far below.
I think Brilinya thinks to look at that maybe a little closer on her way back, if she makes it back. But
there, you also would notice that there is a narrow crawlway in the wall behind the statue.
Cool. Okay. All right. She's gonna quickly look at the. You said its fists were clenched.
It's basically holding its hands out like this in front of it, and both fists are clenched.
She's gonna look and see if she can see if there's anything inside the fists.
Give me a investigation check.
Okay, that's a 13.
Looking very closely at the hands, you can just see as the fists aren't quite completely closed because there is something in the palm of each hand. In one hand, there is a pearly white crystal eyeball. And in the other hand, there is a scarlet crystal eyeball.
Ooh. So I think if Brilinya would yell back to anyone who is on the other side, there's inside the hands, there's more eyeballs.
What are the rest of you doing during this time? Have you come down to the balcony?
I think that Qualu is at the balcony, kind of just watching to see what happens. And Qualu would respond to Brilinya. Can you get them out?
Brilinya is going to see if she can pry open the hand.
For all intents and purposes, it looks as if these were molded, were carved in this way. Taliel, are you on the balcony?
Yeah, I had come down to the balcony and I've got my bow out
that's
and
right.
trained. Yeah.
We could easily leap across these platforms and tear the arms off that statue,
Kubazan says in your head.
Yeah, but I don't need to do all the work. This is Brilinya's show right now.
Brilinya's not as strong as we are.
No, but she is smart.
Are you saying brains are better than brawn? You are foolish.
I'm just saying we don't have to take all the spotlight. This is her challenge. I'm watching her back.
Well, if anybody could leap across these platforms, it's us.
If she fails, we can do that.
When she fails.
Brilinya, you hear in your head, you know, there was a switch over on that other wall. We should have pulled it. Pulling levers always makes great things happen.
Well, I wouldn't so much agree with that, but that's before your time. But I do think that that's a good idea. And Brilinya would call over that. I also think by now probably a minute has passed, and I think that means that she has lost her wings.
I'm going to say, yeah, you're probably right. About a minute has passed.
But Brilinya would actually, seeing the crawl space, though, gives her like this sense of relief that maybe she doesn't have to hop back. So she's gonna call out, there was a lever. Maybe one of you should pull it, but not before I crawl in here quickly. Berlinda's just gonna she wants to crawl into the crawl space just a little bit.
Okay.
So
Qualu will kind of nod to Taliel to kind of like knock her arrows in case anything disgusting happens. And Qualu will go to the lever to pull on Brill's count.
Vale, you hear in your head, I've got a bad feeling about this.
Oh, it's going to be fine.
So, Brilinya,
Maybe.
you notice just crawling into this crawl space about 5 feet, it immediately begins to curve up to the north. And you can sense that there's a little bit of a space up there. Do you just go in the 5 feet, or do you go in a little further?
I think that she would go in a little bit further just to see, because right now crawling out backwards might be a little awkward. So if there was like a space or something, she could turn around.
You continue a total of about 15 feet, and you come out into a 10 foot by 10 foot by 10 foot room. It is completely barren. There is no purple fungus with eyeballs growing in here. This tiny room appears untouched by the dust of the dungeon, untouched by the growing purple fungus. For all intents and purposes, this looks like you may have just found one of the only safe spaces in the dungeon where you could possibly even safely take a long rest.
So Berlinia's going to turn around, definitely take a note of that, but she's going to turn around and head back south down the crawl space.
Back the way you came.
And give the signal to Qualu to pull
And
the lever.
by the way, there was another crawl space exit out of the north side of that room.
Okay.
So, Qualu, you pull the lever after she goes in the crawl space. You really, what you see is her disappear behind the statue.
Yeah, and I'll just call out, are you all right in there? Everything good? And if she responds, which she probably does, all right, just on your count when you're ready, I'll flick the switch. So I'll make sure that Brill's okay with it.
Yep.
And Brill gives you the thumbs up, gives you the okay.
Yep. And I go ka-chunk and try to pull the lever down.
You pull the lever.
Moves.
Though it's rusty, it protests only a small amount with the... And for a moment, there's silence. And I would like each one of you to roll a D100.
I got a 5.
I got a 94.
All right, hold on. One at a time. Qualu, you got a 5. I am going to individually, privately message you with what is happening to you.
Perfect.
Taliel, what happens to you? What did you roll?
94.
Then I will narrate some of this. All right, so then it's... Here's yours. Vale.
Actually, I got a 95, which is probably even worse. The skin flies off my body. It hurts a lot.
Turns into a kite and flies away.
Brilinya, what'd you roll?
Rolled a 76.
Okay. Well, there might be a little bit of saving grace to the party here. Okay. So, at the moment Qualu pulls this lever, there's that moment of nothing. And then the entire chamber a howling wind begins to rush through the entirety of the chamber. In that same moment, both Vale and Taliel, just double checking here, both Vale and Taliel collapse unconscious. Qualu holds the lever in the down position, staring into nothingness, and does not move. Brilinya, you're watching from the safety of the crawl space, and you hear the wind pick up, and you can just peer around the statue in time to see your two of your companions collapse. Qualu unmoving. And you have just the most bizarre craving suddenly. You cannot help but think about, man, we've been seeing this purple fungus growing all over the place. And I wonder what it tastes like. I bet it's actually really good and we could survive off of this. You remember, right before you crawled into the crawl space, there was some purple fungus growing on the balcony by the fiend statue.
So I think momentarily she forgets about her companions and why they're here, and all she can think about is this hunger for this specific thing. And she is going to get off from the crawl space, get down from the crawl space onto that balcony.
Give me a perception check as you do so.
That's an 11.
Okay. You have eyes only for the fungus collected there, that delicious iridescent purple fungus. Oh man, if only one of those succulent eyeballs would pop out. But just, you can imagine it like a grape in your mouth. Who would have thought that the breaking point for Megan is the food-based descriptions of an otherwise inedible substance?
So Brilinya is going to eat, just kind of rip it off if she can, a piece of this fungus, and just pop it into her mouth.
You do so, and I would like, I need to check something quick. As you roll a d10 for me.
Got a 6.
Okay. While we're doing that, Vale, roll me a d10. Actually, everybody roll me a d10. And Vale, tell me what you got.
Got me a 3.
Right. Taliel?
6.
Brilinya?
6 as well.
Qualu?
Got a 1.
All right. So, Brilinya, you rolled a 6 on your d10 roll the first time and the second time? Or was that only one d10 you rolled?
Sorry, I only rolled 1 d10.
Okay, I need a second one
yeah.
for a different reason.
Yeah. 2.
Okay, that's even better.
Mhm.
All right. So, with a 6. Oh boy. All right. Hate these D4s, they don't actually roll. There we go. That looks like it's gonna be Vale. So, oh, Vale might be lucky, but Brilinya might be unlucky. I need to check the range on this. Oh no, never mind. All right. Vale, you automatically fail your strength saving throw. Brilinya, You watch as this handful of fungus that you grab, as you look, you take a bite out of it and you're still holding on to some of it. An eyeball comes emerging from the chunk in your hand, and it looks around and it seems to glow, and it turns and shoots a ray across the chasm, and you watch as Vale's body is lifted into the air and pulled in the direction of the open pit. There is a very small percentage chance that Vale will land on one of the platforms. So Vale, I'm going to have you roll me a D100. I'm rolling a D100. I have my number here. That's our base point for our sliding scale. So roll me a D100 and tell me what you get.
8.
So that would be, that was just outside of the range, well, by about 7. So you will not land on a platform. You watch as Vale's unconscious body is lifted and pulled and falls between 2 platforms, falling 60 feet to the floor below.
I regret nothing, I say in unconscious.
Vale, you will take 8, 15, 20 points of bludgeoning damage.
Oh, what is this? Amateur damage hour?
You got lucky on that. I rolled a couple of low,
low
numbers. But go ahead, taunt me. Go ahead and taunt me and see if you want to keep that up.
Don't tempt fate, Mike. Don't tempt fate.
So,
sorry, what was that? That was 20? 20?
Yes, 20 points of bludgeoning damage. Just checking the effects of your unconsciousness. You do not wake up. Hold on, let me check that again. Yep, you do not.
I'm okay with that. Matter of fact, I think that's the very last thing that Vale would want to wake up to. I think that's the last thing that anyone would want to wake up to. Fall 60 feet down onto hard stone. It's like, you fall 60 feet into the giant pit of fluffy pillows.
Well,
like,
the one thing I was looking at is if you're unconscious, any attack against you is a critical hit, but that's not an attack. That is just an effect of falling. So I'm not going to roll double damage on you.
That's fair.
But you are still unconscious and will remain so for a few moments. Brilinya, still under the control of this, what is happening, you are going to have to take another bite. However, Qualu, just as Vale's body goes flying off and drops below, you suddenly snap back to yourself, and it's this sort of, you hear this sort of as everything comes swirling back into focus for you. The wind is howling around you. You're holding this lever. You look around. You didn't see Vale go, but you see Taliel Taliel unconscious on the ground next to you, and Vale's nowhere to be seen. Brilinya is on the far side of the pit and has a handful of this purple fungus. Give me a perception check.
Boy. That's a 15 total.
You also notice that next to Brilinya, both of the fists of the fiend are now open, and you can see the white and red crystal refracting light from the nearby firelight.
Qualu will yell at Brilinya, "Don't eat that! No, put that down!"
Brilinya, you hear Qualu yelling at you, "Eat that! I want to know what it tastes like!" And I need you to take another bite.
So she obliges.
And roll a d10.
Sorry?
Roll a d10.
A 10?
Oh,
All right.
Okay.
Shoot.
That was the worst of the dice you could roll.
Oh.
Megan, I want you to roll a d4. Unless you would rather I do it, because you're choosing who's getting hit by this.
Ooh.
Do it, Megan.
4.
That's Qualu. Qualu, thankfully you have become conscious, and you see as Brilinya shoves. This time you see this eye stalk sticking out of her mouth as she's sort of doing that, like when you put too much of like lettuce or something in your mouth and you're just sort of the eye stalk's being pulled in, but suddenly a sickly green beam shoots out across the chasm towards you right before, and she eats it up. Qualu, I need a dexterity saving throw from you.
Alrighty.
We have domain die, just as a reminder.
And we just got another one thanks to somebody. I'm not seeing it now. Somebody subscribed and it's not showing up in the feed. But thank you to whoever that was.
I'll be using a domain dice for this because
right.
That is a free roll. And that's also a very poopy roll.
All right.
I got a total of 5.
I am going to roll. I don't quite have 10 d10 here. I guess I could use some of the percentile. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. I'm rolling 10 d10. Qualo, you will take 1, 7, 13, 14, 18, 28, 33, 35, 38, 40 points of necrotic damage as the death ray hits you square in the chest. Brilinya, just as this miniature eye stalk bursts in your mouth like a grape, the flavor changes to horribly bitter. It reminds you of the Yucca beetles, but worse. And you see this green beam shoot from you and hit Qualu in the chest and knock him backwards for a moment. And he's momentarily covered in this green light, but he does not fall. Well, I don't know. Do you fall? You just rested, so you shouldn't be.
Nah, that's just a tickle. It tickled me for a bit.
But you also sort of come out of this realizing something was compelling you to eat this purple fungus. All right. Brilinya, give me a perception check.
Okay. Oh, that's a nat 20 or 21.
As you're shaking your head, you turn and you see the statue has both of its hands open and the two crystal eyes, the white and the scarlet one. Scarlet. I don't know why I said that like I'm from Boston. The white and the scarlet one are visible to you.
Holding down the sick that is in her stomach right now, that is just threatening to come up.
Give me a Constitution save.
Yeah, I'm like,
I debated it, but since you're already describing it that way.
Oh, absolutely. Yeah, that's a 12.
You managed to keep it down mostly. It's kind of like when Khaleesi was eating the horse heart. But you power through it. And you are able to grab these crystal spheres.
And she is going to scream at Koalu to turn it off, turn the lever off, just do something.
Qualu, do you heed what she says?
Yeah, she's bright and I'm dumb, so I'll do it. I'll flick the switch again. So back to its original position.
I'm just checking. Let's see.
It does the effects, but twice as bad. Oh no.
Nope. About this time, as you throw the switch,
reverse.
the fists of the fiend statue next to you, Brilinya. You hear the stone grinding, and they close now on nothing. The winds dissipate to almost nothing. Far below, in the pit, next to another dead body, Vale. You open your eyes to pain all over your body. Where in your mind, moments before you were standing, you are now lying on your back, face up, staring up at 60 feet above you. You see these platforms rotating around. And turning your head slightly, you see the remnants of a deceased dragonborn a few feet away from you.
Just getting up and trying to sit up. I feel a little bit dizzy and queasy at first, kind of shake it off. Looking around, just kind of like trying to get my bearings. I'll probably call up, hello? Hello?
Qualu and Brilinya, you can hear Vale's voice coming from the depths of the pit.
Must be a trick of the wind. Let's move on. No, I'm kidding. Oh, how do we get him? Quali will say to the two others that are not him.
Taliel, do you have your rope?
Taliel does not answer. She is still unconscious.
Oh, that's right.
She is unconscious at Qualu's feet.
Quali's just like looking at her. Do you have any ideas, you two? No, I think that Taliel is still unconscious. I think that Quali will like take a knee and just like kind of try to wake her up if he can.
What do you do to try to wake her up?
Hello, are you sleeping? Cease sleeping. Yeah. Cease sleeping, please. Kind of jostle her a bit.
As you're doing this, Yak floats down next to her.
Please, I need you to wake up. If you don't wake up, I will be stuck here forever with your body. Please, wake her up.
Stuck here, you say?
I know that look. Don't get any bright ideas.
Qualu has no bright ideas. Just normal ideas. Qualu does not experience light inside his head.
So while Qualu is having a fruitless conversation with Yak and trying to wake Taliel, Vale, what are you doing down in the pit?
Probably hurting, like, a lot. But I'm gonna kind of like reach over with my body and try kind of have to see what this dragonborn died with, because I mean I'm alive.
So you do see this is a dragonborn wearing a bit worn and in this case dented plate armor. You see a holy symbol on him. He seemed to have been some kind of paladin. And he has his sigils, and he wears a scarf, a cravat sort of tucked in behind his gorget of yellow. And as you look at, there is an array of stuff. It looks like his pack burst whenever he fell. Near him is a Yikulwa, a weapon you'll remember that Dunala actually carried, which is a traditional Chultan warrior weapon. Excuse me, that's a 3-foot wooden shaft with a steel or stone blade about 18 inches long, so it's sort of like just this baseball bat with a sword attached to the end kind of thing. that despite everything else looking worn, this weapon does not show any signs of corrosion or wear. He has a Dungeoneer's pack. His coin purse appears to have broken. A mere 8 gold pieces lie scattered around. A very intricately carved ivory back scratcher shaped like a dinosaur claw, worth about 25 gold pieces. A holy
Qualu's gonna want that. I'm gonna take that. I'm gonna give it to Qualu.
A holy symbol of Bahamut, the platinum dragon.
Yeah, I'm gonna leave that. It's not a thing.
And a red crystal eyeball, 1 inch in diameter.
I'm gonna take that. I'm gonna take the red crystal eyeball. I'm gonna take the weapon. Which kind of weapon was it again? A longsword or?
It's a Yuklwa. YKLWA.
Oh, like a short spear.
Less than a spear. It's basically a stick with a sword blade on the end of it, like a short sword blade. It's a Chultan weapon. You've seen it. Dunala carried one.
Yeah.
And as because this is just the precedent we've done since the beginning, this is a magical +1 Yuklwa.
Okay, I'll take that. Matter of fact, I'll take all the things. What about his armor? Does his armor seem like
his armor is pretty dented, seems to have tarnished, and also contains the remains of him. It looks like he may have partially burst when he fell.
Yeah, I'm gonna leave that.
But there is that yellow banner that you've seen on these other members that are of the Yellow Banner, Company of the Yellow Banner, that was Taliel's former adventuring party.
I'll take that.
All right.
Grabbing all that and putting it into my pack. And you said it's obviously 60 feet to the top.
To the balcony or to the platforms, yes.
Yeah. Hey, let's see what some of my spells can do.
Or you can try to climb your way out.
Yeah. Okay. Here's what I'm going to do. I'm going to climb. I'm going to try climbing up. And I'll probably climb up at least the first 30 feet if there's not too much trouble.
Okay, so because climbing is. Do you have any kind of climbing gear?
I guess technically. Let's see. Well, I do have rope.
Yeah, but do you have like pitons and all that stuff?
No, I do not.
Hold on a second, because I'm checking something.
Sure. I assume it would be probably like.
It's going to be an athletics check, but the distance you move depends on whether you're using climbing gear. Okay, so you actually do have, when you were searching his body, he's carrying a Dungeoneer's pack, which includes a crowbar, a hammer, 10 pitons, torches, tinderbox, rations, and water skin. So you would have climbing gear available to you.
Okay. I'll grab everything I need to climb up, plus his food and water.
Okay.
Because he doesn't need it anymore. I'm not gonna grab too much stuff, but
nope, that's fine. We're not using encumbrance rules, but still, yeah, you're able. I mean, basically, you'll have to use the pitons to work your way up, and what that's going to do is that reduces the number of checks you need to make. Nice. Because without climbing gear, climbing reduces you to half your movement. Because you're using climbing gear, you're going to make a strength athletics check to climb 30 feet.
All right, then I'm doing that right now. And there we go. That is an 18.
Yeah, the stone walls of this pit, you're able to kind of work the pitons into the cracks between the blocks and get them in there firmly with the hammer, and use the rope that was there to kind of secure yourself. And you make it up to 30 feet very quickly.
Okay.
It'll require
know-
one more strength check unless you have a different means by which you wish to escape.
I would, but then I'd be completely out of second level spell slots. So I'm going to climb up the last 30 feet.
All right, strength athletics check.
Ooh, that is a 17.
Whether you have experience in climbing or you're just a natural, you make it up to the top. Now, this is important. I should have clarified this. Which side are you climbing up?
I'm going to climb up the side with the lever.
Okay, perfect. So as you hear from below, Qualu and Brilinya, you can see down below as Vale is sort of gathering all this stuff, and he finds the climbing gear, and you see, okay, he's climbing out. A couple minutes later, Qualu, Taliel's eyes begin to flutter, and after a moment, you sort of shake your head, Taliel, and you regain consciousness. Qualu is slapping your face, and Yak is sort of buzzing around. Yak is uncomfortably close and just goes, "Oh, dang the 9 gods. Oh, I thought I was going to be stuck here with your body for the rest of eternity."
And I think Taliel, as she comes to, and Qualu is like slapping her, and she would kind of like slap at his hands and like, "Get off!"
I've done what I need to do.
A few moments later, Vale clambers up over the edge of the railing, trailing some rope. And all but Brilinya are on that side of the chasm with you. Brilinya, what are you doing during all this?
She's waiting in anticipation to make sure that everyone is okay. And once she contemplates even jumping from platform to platform, but then she sees that everyone eventually is okay. And she's going to yell across the cavern. In this crawl space, there's also a room that doesn't seem to be affected by the dungeon or by the tomb. There's no that purple muck in it or anything like that.
This perturbs Qualu for one reason alone. Why is it so? Is it another trap?
It honestly didn't look like one. I'm gonna crawl through, and there was another crawl space on the other side of it, and I'm gonna see where it comes out of. I'll come around to you.
All right, just be careful. Yak, why don't you go with her and help her or something?
You know, I would, but I can't.
Why?
Don't really want to.
Last time you told us to do stuff, I got my head beaten in.
Oh, that's fine. I mean, I did find some nice, big, juicy rubies down at the bottom of that pit. I was going to share them with you, but, I just don't really feel like it. And, yeah.
Wait a minute. You got the rubies?
Hmm? Oh, no, don't worry about it. Like I said, I would give them to you, but I don't feel like it. And
Are they big rubies?
you know what? It's okay. You just float around and run into things. You seem to be very good at that.
Give me a deception check.
No problem. I was waiting. I'm like, I rolled a natural 19. So that's a 22.
All right, so I will go, and I will not because you told me to, but because I want to. I changed my mind. I will go, and I will stay with her. But when we get back,
Right.
there will be rubies.
You know what? Hopefully, another magic skull doesn't fly by and demands the rubies. But if that doesn't happen, then they just might be yours.
Wait, have you seen other floating skulls in here?
No, don't worry about it. It's okay. It's okay. Just go. Help Brill. Help Brill.
All right. He reluctantly flies off across the way, and a moment later, Brilinya, you are trailed by Yak, the floating skull.
I don't know whether I did a good thing or not.
Yeah, I think Brilinya secretly wonders whether Vale actually just hates her or not.
All right, so
But she is going to yell across. I'll meet you guys on the west, that west corridor. I'll come back, and she's gonna go through the crawl space.
okay. So you crawl through 15 feet, and you get into that 10 foot by 10 foot by 10 foot room. And as soon as you get in there, a moment later, behind you comes Yak. Oh. Do you know what this is?
A room?
It is more than that. I'm not positive. But I think this is I don't know what they call it, but it an engineer's bluff. If I had to bet, the engineers who designed this place, if I had to bet, this does not appear on the map. The engineers, many of whom were killed by a Serac after completing the construction of this place, they may have built this in as a secret room. Maybe they just wanted to take extra Yakabito breaks while they were building, I don't know.
You know, that is very good to know. Maybe once we're done looking with this room, we could actually take a rest here and feel safe, hopefully.
If it is what I think it is, my guess is that whatever it is that is keeping this place running, they don't know about it. It's small enough to probably stay off of anybody's from their notice.
That is great advice. Thank you, Yak.
The skull makes a sort of motion that the best way I can describe it is it's kind of like when C-3PO communicates emotion through just head tilts and posture, but that almost seems to be a little bit like, wow, thanks. And in response, he says, would you like me to go ahead and see what is here before you go?
Sure, that would be very helpful.
I mean, I'm already dead. I can't really die anymore. I'm pretty much indestructible. And he takes off down the bend. He's gone for about a moment, and he comes back. There's a really long water with a magical waterfall halfway up the room. See a bunch of carvings on the wall with weapons in them. Water is everywhere in this room. You're muted.
Dang it. I think Brilinya would actually let out a sigh of relief because she was kind of worried that it would put her in a room that she hadn't known, but to see that it is a room that they've already cleared, she lets out a sigh of relief. She's like, oh, that's great news.
So do you follow him through?
Yes.
So in the interest of time, you basically backtrack through the room you entered, through the way you entered that room, along the corridor, and then to the crawl space that you later came back to. And as you go through, though, that crawl space, you do find yourself face to face with the iron door plate that had the eye cutouts of the Minotaur that I believe Vale had previously lifted. You will need to make a strength check to attempt to lift
Oh no.
that.
This is where Brill dies. She gets stuck. That is 1, so I'm going to use a domain die.
All right, let's see.
Okay, all right. That's a 17 on the die, which is a total of 15.
If it was a 17, it would have been enough. You are struggling and you just cannot get this iron hatch open. It won't budge. Even at one point, Yak is sort of leaning against it and trying to push, though it is doing 0 to help you.
What type of... It's metal?
It's made of iron, and there are 2 eye holes that allow you to see through to the other side.
I think at that point she kind of becomes frustrated because she knows that strength is not her strong suit, so she's just gonna back up. She's gonna just blast it with Eldritch Blasts. If she can.
Yeah. I won't make you roll the attack rolls. Just go ahead and roll damage.
Okay.
And actually, you know what? Eldritch Blast is a cantrip.
Yes.
So it's safe to say that you're just going to spam this thing. I just imagine that Brilinya just getting so pissed. You back up about 15, 20 feet. And for a moment, we cut to Vale, Taliel, and Qualu. And you just hear somewhere in the distance... coming from the direction of the balcony stairs back up to the room that you came from. We cut back to Brilinya. The smoke of the now slagged iron door recedes, and the passageway is open.
So with like a very self-satisfied, like, there we go. She's just gonna go through.
So then you manage to basically find yourself back in the hallway that led you into the rock tumbler trap. You have to drop through the floor, but as you know, your air elemental by now is gone, but you had gotten the sense that it had taken care of things. When you drop through into the room, the rock tumbler does not start up again. And moments later, Taliel, Vale, and Qualu, Brilinya appears at the top of the stairs to the balcony where you were. And there is now only one way left that you have not gone, and that is the westernmost chamber.
It's good to see you again, Brilinya. I thought perhaps you would never come back to us. It's the last you would hear now.
Well, I was lucky. The crawl space led out in that water room that we were already there, and Yak confirmed that space that I found may not be on the maps that Acerak has, or whoever built it.
So we trust Yak now with reliable information?
I trust Yak in the fact that he doesn't want to be left alone in this tomb forever if Taliel dies.
This is very true. By the way, you.
Me?
Where are those rubies you promised me?
Oh, no, not me. Good. Phew.
Oh, so good news, bad news. The bad news is, unfortunately, like grab a handful of the rocks that I was scrounging around for while they were gone. I thought they were rubies, but it turns out they were just stones on the ground. Must have just fallen into the lad down there's pack. Maybe he just like to collect rocks. I don't know. So here they are, and I just kind of like hold up the stones and other bits. See, I thought they were obviously in the light, right? But now that I'm up here, they don't really look like rubies at all. Funny. But anyway, more importantly, Taliel, I think, and I'm going to pull out the yellow cravat. I think this was from your think your friend, well, it's from your friend who passed away down there. A dragonborn.
A dragonborn?
Yeah. He was carrying this, and I'll hold the short spear, very short spear. I'm not going to bother. And I'm going to hold that out. He had this with him, and some climbing gear would help me up out of the pit in the first place. Oh, and an ivory back scratcher in the shape of a dinosaur claw. I thought Qualu might want it or something, or you might want it. I mean, I'm not going to stand in between you two wanting whatever, but I'm sorry to say, Qualu, but his armor was too, well, dented and sort of goopy.
Qualu has gotten accustomed to the breeziness that a lack of armor provides.
All right. Well, the other thing I've got is one of the a red eyeball. So I'll give that to Taliel as well.
As you hand over the eyeball, and verse Taliel, you do recognize the description of Sephirius, your dragonborn companion of the Company of the Yellow Banner. Vale, as you hand over the eyeball, you sense to your right, very close to you, Yak floating. And very quietly, he says to you, I scorn you, scurvy companion. What, you poor, base, rascally, cheating, lack-linen mate? Away, you moldy rogue, away! And he floats away towards Taliel and keeps his face turned away from you. Thank you to the Shakespearean insult generator for that.
Nice. Hey, you know what? Turns out you actually did do some helping after all, instead of just floating around being a royal pain in the ass. So very happy you did that. Yeah.
Humph.
Yeah, you golden pimple on an ogre's backside.
So, what would you like to do? You have the westernmost passage you have yet to explore, and you have this apparently safe zone in which you could take a long rest.
Well, first things first, as Yak comes back to me, knowing that he's not going to get the rubies as promised, she's already dug into her pouch and she pulls out a garnet and gives it to Yak.
And how much is that garnet worth?
It says 100 GP.
Okay. Well, at least somebody has some decency. And he happily, like throwing a milk bone to a dog, chomps it up until it vanishes. You have now given him 140 gold pieces worth of gems.
Thank you, Yak. And she turns back to Vale, who's handing her like the yellow banner. And she quietly takes the yellow banner and she'll put that in her pouch. But the weapon itself, you can keep that.
I'll hand it off to Qualu if he wants it. It is magical in nature.
Very well. We'll take it.
That is a +1 Yukulwa, and I'll put the spelling in the chat. You should be able to add that through the inventory manager.
Perfect.
All right. Are you going to check out the passage to the west, or are you going to take a long rest? That was an unintentional rhyme.
I don't know what's best for the rest.
I think we should go west. It could be a test.
Don't say that in jest.
I know where you all live.
I legitimately didn't know if Mike was going to pile on or be disgusted.
But I digress.
You bastard. So you guys want to check out the passage to the west?
Well, we'll do our best.
Okay, really just stop. But...
Okay, so you travel to 30 feet along the passageway, and then it turns north for about a mere 10 more feet. And the passage ends. Let me find it. Here we are. The corridor ends in a large door with a round mirror set into its surface. 10 circular indentations, each about an inch across, surround the mirror at equidistant spacing. You see the four of you and Yak reflected in the mirror.
Do each of the indentations look the same, like exactly the same, or is there slight differences?
They all look the same.
Taliel will, I mean, it's the last one that was handed to her. So she has the red eyeball. And she kind of sighs, like, looks at the others and then shrugs and then sticks the red one into a slot. Let's say, I don't know, number 2.
Well, maybe I'll just stop her. Wait, maybe we should just walk around and really get a good look at all these different slots. There's got to be some sort of something.
There's nothing to walk around. You're standing in front of a mirror that's probably about 6 feet in diameter, and the circles go all the way around it.
Sorry, I mean the alcoves.
Yeah, you're jumping ahead because I accidentally showed you the room that's on the other side of the door.
Oh, so hey,
you're at the door that has 10 impressions around the mirror that's set into the door.
Whoops.
Is there any colors or anything, or is
Nope.
it just nope?
They're all identical indentations. Do you still stop Taliel then, Vale? Retconning that?
No, I'm not gonna Yeah, I'll retcon that, and
Okay.
yeah.
Taliel, you reach up and you place the sphere into this indentation, and as you hold it up there, it goes and sort of magnetically locks into place. Give me a perception check, everyone.
Five.
19 for me.
12.
And that's a dirty 20 for me.
It's subtle. But who was it? Qualu, did you have the 19?
Yep.
Qualu and Vale. It's very subtle, but as Taliel places the sphere in, you notice as your reflections appear to age 10 years.
That is the wrong one I see. Perhaps. Pull it out. No. Let us collect all of the gems together to see what they all look like.
Are you going to remove the sphere?
Yeah, Taliel turned to Koalo. It's the wrong one. How do you know?
In the reflection, do you see? We are dying. Wasting away.
Drawing your attention to it, you would then notice you appear to be about 10 years older.
And she looks at Koalu, like before she takes it out, she looks at Koalu in real life and then in the mirror. Is the mirror now, like Koalu himself hasn't aged, right?
Oh, just a reflection.
Okay. Yeah, so then she'll pull it out, or at least try to.
It will not budge. It has absolutely no wiggle at all. It feels as though it's part of the stone now that you've placed it in there.
I can't remove it.
I see. Perhaps place another. I will keep my eyes upon the reflection to see how it changes.
Will you place another?
Yeah, I think I'll take the scarlet one. Oh no, Brilinya has that one. We'll take the pink one and put it in the slot next to the red one.
Your reflections appear to age 50 years.
Brilinya, would everyone notice this by now?
Yeah, your attention has been drawn to it, so you've all noticed it.
Do we feel any different?
Nope. It's just your reflection seems to be changing.
You know, it could be some sort of trick, like with that servant, or not the servant, the Taliel, your clone.
The shadow.
Mm.
I say we continue to put these gems in.
Maybe we shouldn't look at the reflection, just as we weren't supposed to look at the shadow?
This is good thinking. This is why you are the thinker here and not I. Let us put our backs to the wall, to the mirror. Place them in blindly.
Okay.
Well, Qualu doesn't have any of these gems on him, so he's just kind of like, I guess, orchestrating this all, I guess.
I think Taliel has most of them.
Yeah, Taliel has I think 7 of the 10, and Brilinya has the other 3.
So will you follow that direction? Put them in without looking?
Yeah, I think she would. I mean, does it hurt?
I can look at the reflection for you. You do not seem to be affected by whatever it is that is aging you in the reflection.
Okay, that will work. You let me know if I'm getting, help me place it in, and I'll keep my eyes closed. And then Taliel would, one by one, going around the circle, just.
All right, you place the remaining 5 that you have, and each time Yak is like,
"Oh, you don't look so good. Oh, your hair is all gray now. Vale, you are ugly and wrinkled and stupid. I know it's only a reflection, but I feel pretty confident you've lost your brains.
Yeah,
you still don't have any rubies. But all of you."
Maybe I do, but maybe I just don't feel like giving them to you.
Qualo, your green skin is turning gray.
Tosser.
Brilinya, you can barely stand upright. Your back is arching.
Taliel, you've placed all 7 of the spheres that you have, and Yak has proceeded to describe you all as growing more and more decrepit and unhealthy looking. 3 remain.
Covering her eyes, Brilinya will do the same. Put the last 3 in.
You put in number 8, number 9, and number 10. Yak describes.
Brilinya, you can no longer stand of your own accord. Vale, your skin is sloughing off and I can see your bones. Taliel, you have no hair but thin grey wisps. Qualu, your skin is transparent and I can see your skeleton through it. No, please don't! And the last orb locks into place. And you hear... There is now a door there where the mirror was. I can see into a room. It is not an illusion. Does anybody look?
Yeah, I think like kind of like peeling one eye open slowly, Taliel will look before opening the other and just gazing in.
Looking inside, you see a domed, candlelit room 50 feet high. The polished marble floor is so perfectly reflective that it creates the illusion of standing at the entrance of a sphere. 9 alcoves filled with glittering treasure open up along the walls. In the middle of the chamber, a large spherical object hovers under a black silk drape, 20 feet above the floor. And that's where we're going to take a quick break because I gotta pee. And we're about 20 minutes past when we normally break. So
I gotta get some soup.
we are going to take a 10-minute break. Thank you to everybody that's been hanging around with us. Thank you to those channels that are hosting us. I see a couple of channels have hosted recently. We will return in just 10 minutes. So stick around. We'll see you on the other side of this break.
I got some hit points left.
And we're back. Sorry, I hit the button a little early. I never know exactly where that music... It's supposed to crossfade, and it never does. All right, well, the heroic adventurers have decided to go the way of the western hallway, and you have placed all 10 of these eyes you've collected on this level into their indentations, and you have opened a large 50-foot high room that is also about 50 feet in every direction. And the marble floor is super high polish and reflects the ceiling, so it does appear as though it's a giant sphere. There is this floating orb in the middle of the room with a drape, large black silk drape that is covering it, and it hovers about 20 feet up. As soon as you all see into the room, Taliel, in your mind you hear Kubazan.
I don't know what is under that tarp, but we should attack it. Get the upper hand while we can.
Obalaka says into your mind, Vale, that's got to be a beholder. That has got to be a beholder. You need to run. Run. Ishin, Brilinya, in your mind says, if we move quickly and quietly, we can get into all the alcoves and steal all of its treasure. They'll never know we were here. Qualu, in your mind, you hear nothing, but next to you, you hear Yak. Oh boy. That's all he says.
Oh boy.
How big is the orb that's floating?
The orb that is floating in the middle of the room is about 10 feet in diameter.
Oh, so it's huge.
Yes, and it's floating about 20 feet above. There is purple fungus all around the edges of this room as well. What do you want to do?
I think that What kind of are there any gems that Brilinya can see in this room?
Well, looking around in the various alcoves, you can see mounds of copper pieces, probably thousands of copper pieces in one of them. Another few thousand silver pieces in another, a couple thousand gold pieces in another. There's some kind of a statue. There's some masks. There appears to be a bronze shield and a glass potion in one of them. A variety of treasures in each of the alcoves.
So Brilinya is keeping an eye on Yak.
Yak is absolutely hovering right above Taliel's left shoulder. Look, if you want to go into there, I will go with you. I'm magically bound to do so. But if you don't want to go in there, I will also not go, because I am magically bound to go where you go, so... What are you going to do?
Yak, can you see the treasure in each alcove?
I mean, I could.
Okay, but like from here, like we see a bunch of treasure in each alcove. From where you are, can you see that same treasure in each alcove?
I'm literally floating next to you, Vale. I can see what you see.
Oh, okay. So it's probably not an illusion?
I mean, I don't have the ability to see through illusions that I'm aware of, but yes, it's probably not an illusion.
Okay. The floating top thing, do you think you could have a peek underneath it?
What floating tarp thing?
But the thing in the middle.
I don't see anything in the middle.
There is something in the middle, right?
Yeah.
You don't see the big
Okay.
giant orb floating in the middle of the room?
He turns to you, Taliel. Oh, I see it.
Oh, I think at that, Taliel just kind of chuckles a little bit.
Everybody's a comedian.
I can see it, Vale. I told you I can see what you can see.
Oh, okay.
Why don't you go in and take a look under it? We'll stay back here and we'll cover you.
Oh, yeah, I bet you will. No, why don't you just go in there, because you seem to be indestructible.
Where did you ever get that idea?
Oh, I don't know. Maybe the time you were bashing your head against the wall of force back in the other room.
All right. Well, do you want me to go in there and look and see what is under the tarp? He turns to you, Taliel.
I honestly don't know if I want to know what's underneath that tarp. But yes, I do.
Oh boy, I'm getting conflicting stories from you all. All right. I will very quietly float and look underneath that thing. But if I am looking underneath the skirts of a beholder, I am going to be very upset. I think. And he begins to float very cautiously. And you see, as soon as he floats into the room, you see a reflection of Yak in the mirror-polished floor. He floats across the room. And he turns and looks back at all of you. And then he goes, looks back at you. And then he's sort of floating underneath. And then he just goes and disappears underneath. And then he comes shooting back. Like he's out of breath, even though he has no lungs. That was scary. I'm not going to lie. Good news? It's not a beholder.
It looks like there's some kind of a giant iron sphere underneath that curtain. It's just floating there.
Would any of us be able to discern what it could possibly be?
I just told you what it was. It is a sphere.
Sorry, I'm asking you as the DM.
I know. I was being a smartass.
You're good.
I mean, based on that description, I don't know that you would get much more out of it. It's a floating 20-foot diameter or 10-foot diameter iron sphere floating under a curtain.
I don't know if I like this. It just seems to be some kind of a trap. I'm assuming this is supposed to be a Cererak's vault. I mean, would that stand to reason?
There does seem to be an awful lot of treasure hiding in there. This could be where Cererak keeps all of his nice stuff. It doesn't explain the shiny floor or the floating orb underneath the curtain. Are you going to go in and try to steal from Cererak, or are you going to go around knowing that whatever's in there, now that you've opened the door, is at your back? What are you going to do, Vale? How brave are you? Or are you scared?
You know, you're a real 24-karat tosser. You know that, right?
I didn't go around promising rubies to somebody and then not give them to them. If I had rubies and said, hey, Vale, if you go do this favor for me, I'll give you some rubies, I would have given you the rubies. Because
no, you
know why?
You would have eaten them all.
You
would have eaten them all yourself.
Because I'm not a dick.
Well, I mean, that is fairly accurate. Tell you what, is there any piles of gemstones anywhere?
You know, I did not see any gemstones.
All right, fine. How about a gold piece or a platinum something or whatever? I'll just go in and grab one for you. How's that?
There's gold pieces everywhere. I saw some golden masks. I saw a musical instrument.
Yeah.
It looks quite valuable, actually.
Oh, well.
I mean, there's a lot of treasure in there.
Okay, well, I'll tell you what then. Why don't, instead of us all standing here, I guess we'll just start fanning out?
Idea. Everyone be careful, though. And I don't think we should lift the drape from that sphere.
I agree. So I'll start sneaking around, hugging around the right side.
All right. So you're going to move into the room and sort of, you're basically going to kind of fan out. So you all enter the room. And
Taliel waits until Vale has entered and moved somewhat before she enters there.
Vale, you enter the room and you begin moving.
Yep, I'm going to be moving to the right. I'm going to be avoiding the purple fungus and just kind of moving around.
As soon as you step into the room and move to the right, I need you to make a dexterity saving throw.
Sounds good. Let me just double check here. Okay. That is a 23.
You step on the floor, and as soon as you push forward, you begin sliding across the polished floor. You expertly maintain your balance and do not fall prone, but you continue moving to the right until you get into that second alcove up from the right side of the door. And you're able to stop yourself at the wall, realizing that as soon as you hit the slippery floor, it's like gliding on ice. But in this room, and let me just double check. That'd be 1, 2, 8. So in this particular alcove, you find all that is in here is a small black sphere. It is shiny and looks very rare.
Is it just floating, or is it just like laying on the ground?
It's just laying on the ground on a pillow. It's 3/4 of an inch in diameter.
All right. I'm just gonna grab it.
You now have and can add to your inventory a bead of force, a wondrous item that is rare. Basically, you can throw it and cause a very powerful, forceful explosion.
Doesn't require attunement, right?
I don't know. I don't think so. Sorry. That was kind of that was a very dismissive answer. And I didn't mean to sound that
was
way.
so sassy.
I don't know. Wait.
Ow.
Sorry. Wait. This is Jake talking, not Yak. No, it does not require attunement.
It does not. Yeah.
I don't know. You figure out if it needs attunement. Jackass. What was that? One of the
most
Happy
certainly
Gilmore,
does not.
Happy Gilmore, I think, where you kept calling him Jackass.
Yep. Yes.
No, so add bead of force to your. So
Got it.
Taliel, you see Vale go in and sort of slip for a moment, and then he just slides across.
I'm gonna call out, but not too loudly, that be wary when stepping on, and try and aim for an alcove that you want to go into.
So I think with that, Brilinya is going to step and head to the left.
All right, so you will go slipping across the floor. I need a dexterity saving throw.
That is a dirty 20.
You also maintain your upright posture, and you slide into the second from the left around that circle from the door. And you slide right into a pile of 5,000 silver pieces. What are you going to do? Are you going to start scooping them up? Are you going to leave them?
I think the immediate Brilinya thinks about how many people this could help, like when they come out and they have all this treasure, and she's assuring herself that it's worth something, and it's worth it, so she is going to start kind of scooping out.
All right, add 5,000 silver pieces to your currency inventory. Taliel and Qualu. So looking at the map, that's basically the second one up from the left and the second one up from the right are occupied by Vale and Brilinya, who have both gathered treasures from those.
Taliel is going to try to aim towards the one at basically the 1 o'clock position. So 4th from the right.
Okay. Easy enough. Dexterity saving throw.
Yeah, that's not so good. That's a 6. You know what? I'm going to use a domain die.
Sure.
So
Yeah, you got a few of those.
It was almost going to be a dirty 20, but then it fell back to a 12.
That is enough. You step out and you sort of, whoa, whoa. And a couple times you almost fall over. Just picture me on roller skates. As you go across this floor and you come really close. This line brings you super close to the iron sphere that's under this black curtain. And you just keep going towards that alcove. And as you pass by this iron sphere, a chill passes over you and you feel abject evil emanating from it. And then it passes as you pass by it, and you find yourself in a, let's see, that would be 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. 1, 2, 3, 4. You find yourself landing in a clatter of noise as you stop, and there's this gold coronet, which, if I remember correctly, is basically a type of trumpet. I could be entirely wrong on that. I feel like since the word is here, that I should be able to simply just copy this word and search for its definition on the internet. But I think it's a trumpet. A smaller, relatively simple crown. Nope, so it's not a trumpet. That changes completely in my mind what this thing is. So let's say a golden coronet crown shaped like an octopus with mother of pearl eyes. It is valued at 2,500 gold pieces. So I will, since the description's a little more lengthy, I'll drop that in the chat for you to add however you will to your chat or to your sheet. Qualu, what are you gonna do?
Qualu, excuse me. Qualu is quite suspicious of what's going on. He's drawn this his staff of striking, and he's not going for any of these alcoves. He's gonna kind of stand guard, and he'll ready in action essentially to if something really happens here.
So you're just standing in the doorway and sort of holding an action?
Yeah, just kind of just keeping watch over the whole room, because it isn't like this one bit.
After the other three have sort of moved into the area, Qualo, you just sort of take up this stance in the room. You hear, seemingly to come from all around the room, you hear a voice.
What ugly, imperfect creatures you are. Belcours dares you to take more treasure.
And you watch as the black drape slides away from the iron sphere. However, none of you predominantly are wearing armor or have shields anymore. And Qualu is bearing his wooden staff, but you all would feel, except for Brilinya, whose all of her buckles and everything disintegrated a while ago, the rest of you would feel a slight magnetic pull towards the sphere. And I would like you all to roll for initiative. All right, Vale, what you got?
11.
Taliel.
9.
Brilinya.
16.
Walu.
T.
Say again?
20. 20.
All right, so that's going to be Qualu, Brilinya, Vale, Taliel, Belcour. All right. As the sphere drops, and you feel this magnetic pull, Qualu, what do you want to do? You see no sign of this where this voice came from.
Show yourself, fiend. Will be what Qualu yells out. He doesn't actually know if it's a fiend or not. He just like saying the word. As he kind of looks around for who is making this terrible emanation of a voice that emanates in this way.
If you had more eyes, you could see Belcours. I see you with all my eyes.
Are you hiding? Is that what this is? Are you scared of us? Show yourself if you're not scared of us. You weak, pathetic thing.
Make a perception check at disadvantage.
Oh yeah, that's what Qualu's good at. Being disadvantaged. All right. That'll be a 13.
You have no idea where this voice is coming from. It seems to come from everywhere at once. What would you like to do?
Qualu will ready his action for if he sees it, he'll run towards it, I guess.
Okay. Brilinya, what would you like to do? Everybody can, since you're all in this room, you can all make perception checks at disadvantage.
Woo, that is a 15.
At 15 for Brilinya.
I got Taliel got 21.
Checking. That's Taliel got a 21. Vale, what'd you get?
Shoot. Hang on. Was it disadvantage?
Yes, disadvantage.
That's what I thought. Okay. At first I'm like, oh, it can't be disadvantage. Yeah, it is. And I got a natural 2. So we'll just go ahead and
Taliel, you're the only one that seems to be able to pinpoint the direction that this voice is coming from. It's not exact, but maybe it's a effect of being inside this alcove. But you don't catch as much of the reverberation, and you feel as though Belcours' voice may be originating from the center top of the room. But Brilinya, it is your turn. And you have no idea where Belcours is.
Brilinya is going to also... Where are you? Show yourself. We don't have to fight. But she is still going to ready a spell.
But I want to fight. Belcours loves destroying adventurers.
Vale.
Oh, I have a plan. I know, right? That's like, oh boy, have I heard this last word before.
I was going to say, those are famous last words in D&D.
Yeah. I am going to cast Dispel Magic
On
the darkness. I'm going to cast it, I don't know, I guess on the center of the room.
All right. All right, you're going to cast Dispel Magic on the center of the room. Choose one creature, object, or magical effect within range. And since you don't know where Belcours is, the only thing in the center of the room is the floating sphere.
I would do the sphere.
Yeah, I'm definitely doing the sphere.
Okay, let me just double check something. Okay. So what does it look like when you cast a spell? What does this particular spell look like? Because I think this is the first time Vale's ever cast a spell magic.
I have cast it once before, and I can't remember when. But someone in chat's probably gonna be like, "Hey, don't you remember? It was this time and you did this thing." And I'm like, "Oh yeah, that was really cool." So when I kind of like reach in behind myself and kind of pull out, and it's tough for other people to see that aren't magically inclined. So I would feel that Brilinya could see it and Taliel could see it. I don't know if Qualu could see it, but it almost seems like the world of the weave goes in and out through the material realm, but there's never like on a sunny day when you like hold up a card close to your face where you like blank out everything. It's almost like a blank, just this kind of what looks to be kind of a ball of force, and it just seems to be as if like there's nothing, no magic in that whole area. It's the sphere that goes shooting towards the ball and just breaks upon it and kind of just wraps itself around like almost like the that Beladro's iron ball.
Belaro's iron
bands. Yeah.
Belaro's the iron bands of Belaro.
Thank you. And it just seems to like break upon it like a wave and then just kind of wrap itself around and kind of attach to it this negative space.
So in this split moment, as you are essentially identifying and following the lines of the weave magic and canceling out the magical spells that are present here, you sense the magic that was holding the sphere aloft. And you also catch just a glimpse before it is snuffed out of Nystul's magical aura that was causing this sphere to emanate a sense of abject evil. And then it's gone. The levitation spell on it, gone. The spell applying the magnetism on it, gone. And in that instant, the sphere drops. This 10-foot hollow iron sphere falls 20 feet to the floor. Cracks begin to spiderweb out from the center, coming in all directions towards where all of you are, creating an imperfect visage in this otherwise reflective floor, breaking up the smooth, polished nature. The floor is now no longer difficult terrain and slippery. You have purchases on which to go, in which to move, and you hear,
Belcours is angry. That is the last thing you should have done.
Taliel, it is your turn. Wait,
like to use a free action.
Unless you have anything.
Yeah,
else
I like to use a free action, and I'll point to Yak and say the skull did it. I'm just kidding. I'm not going to.
For perhaps the first time.
No,
Yak has nothing to say.
I'm kidding. I'm not going to do that.
That's fine. I was going to say the skull just sits there, the jaw working, and no words coming out. Taliel, it's your turn.
Taliel would love to shoot. Well, so she'll have to grab her bow and arrows and shoot at the spot where she believes the sound is coming from.
All right, you will make your attack at disadvantage.
Oh, that's so bad. Okay, so that'll be a total of 14 to hit.
You shoot an arrow up into the air, up above where the sphere was hovering, and it just clatters off of the domed ceiling and collapses, falling to the ground somewhere on the other side of the room.
I will do that twice more. I get.
Oh yes, that's a level 11.
Mm-hmm.
You get 3 attacks.
Oh, that's a much better one. So that is a 25 to hit.
That is going to hit.
Okay. Sorry. Yes. So that is 12 points of piercing, and it's magical as it's hitting. And then the final shot is a 20 to hit.
Hold on 1 second.
Sure.
Check something. Think. Okay. Yeah, you're fine. The 20 hits.
For another 8 piercing.
All right. 18 points of magical damage.
Yes.
And it is Belcorge's turn.
Is it visible now, or is it?
That's what I was checking. And it does not render him visible.
Is there any reaction from Belcourt that would actually? No, never mind. That would not trigger Brilliant spell anyway.
There's no, as far as you can tell, you cannot see Belcorge. Just all right. Yeah. Yep. As long as he gets hit, he's still not visible. And it is his turn. And he is going to, so let's see, we've got Qualu was in the door. Brilinya's at the roughly 8 o'clock position. Taliel's at the 1 o'clock position, and Vale is at about the 4 o'clock position in the room. So that would put Qualu at 6 o'clock. Okay. Taliel, you are the first target. That is going to be a DC 16 wisdom saving throw. However, I don't believe you are full elf, correct?
Yes, I am full elf. So
You are immune to effects that put you to sleep magically, correct?
yes.
You feel a spell energy wash over you and have no effect, which is going to cause him to attack you again. I need you to make a dexterity saving throw at disadvantage.
Okay, that's a 9.
As a green bolt of energy leaps out from the ceiling towards you. That is going to be 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10 D10. You've seen this effect before from the purple fungus. Taliel, you take 16, 19, 19, 22, 30, 40, 50, 56, 65, 71 points of necrotic energy.
Oh.
How many hit points did you have remaining?
Sorry.
Believe
I
you
had
were at-
88. So you said 71?
Yes.
Oh, ow.
Yes, you just took 71 points of necrotic damage. And I'm going to 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Qualu, you are getting targeted by the next ray. I need you to make a wisdom saving throw.
I would like to use a domain dice, please, to re-roll this piddly number. As I get a slightly better number of 19.
That is enough as you feel a wave of energy wash over you. And you grow incredibly weary and tired. But you fight it off.
Oh, I am strong.
Now, those of you that were holding an action, I will allow you to make attacks at disadvantage because you saw the green ray come from a position about 50 feet above the floor in the center of the room.
This beholder is flying in the air above near the ceiling, correct?
Assuming it is actually a beholder.
Well, okay, this thing that's imitating a beholder.
Yes. It would appear to be hovering at the top of the center of the room.
Is it at least is it at most 30 feet away in the air?
It's 50 feet away.
Qualu can do nothing but growl at it. Grr.
Brilinya is going to, I think for this one, she's going to let loose her Eldritch Blast at disadvantage. Oh, that's a nat 1. That is a 17 to hit and a 29 to hit.
The first two shots fly wild and wide and hit nothing. The third shot hits.
It is also going to push it back 10 feet. Oops, that is the wrong dice. That is going to do 14 points of damage.
And that's force damage?
I believe so.
So
Yes.
as your Eldritch Blast strikes the beholder, you know now that it is a beholder. It hits, and for a moment, the Eldritch Blast washes over it and seems to outline its shape, and as it's knocked backwards, it slams into the top of the dome, and it becomes visible. You can see Belcourse now. Belcourse does not like this. And we are at the top of the order, and it is Qualu's turn.
Come down and fight me! He yells.
Come up and
fruitlessly,
fight me!
as he is land-bound like a creature of the earth. Qualu is kind of at a loss here. How does he get 50 feet into the air? He's looking at this metal ball. How big is it from
10
bottom
feet
to top?
diameter.
Okay, that solves 10 feet of 50 feet.
How high can you jump?
Definitely not 40 feet. Qualu just Super Saiyan jumps up in the air. He will get his longbow sorted and strung and get some arrows knocked. And if you'd allow, I'd like to fire some longbow shots at this
Yep,
thing.
I will allow you to switch to your longbow and make your shots.
Perfect. I got 3 arrows. 22, a 14, and a 16.
Only the first shot hits.
Great. This is going to do a lovely 2 points of normal mundane damage. Ah,
One of the eye stalks bats away the arrow as it flies towards him, and you see just a tiny little scrape along the eye stalk.
Belcourse is amused!
Brilinya.
Qualu is not amused.
There is a anger welling up in Brilinya, especially after the comment that this thing had made about liking to bring pain to others, and she's brought back to all the people throughout their whole journey that have brought so much pain and so much death to everyone around her, and even herself sometimes. And you'd see that where she had drank that water, those spidery black veins would come back in her face, and in her eyes they would turn this pitch black color. And this is very very different from Brilinya, but she is just getting so angry and frustrated, and she just says, if you enjoy bringing so much pain and fear to others, why don't you get a taste of your own medicine? And this thing has to make an intelligence saving throw.
Intelligence saving throw. That is going to be 22.
Can you re-roll that?
Are you using domain dice to do that?
Yeah. Yes. No, I just want you to re-roll it.
All right, hold on. So you're going to go from 11 to 9. So that's going to go to... and I want to make sure I'm managing your domain dice appropriately. So I'm going to re-roll that, and that is now a 14.
Yes. Okay. So, immediately around this beholder just no longer sees the this broken dome and even the adventurers around it. Instead, he sees he is in this pit of lava and fire, and all of these shadowy demon eyes and ears and heads and horns, and maybe even a Serac himself, are standing around this pit, jeering and laughing and carrying on around him, at him. I cast mental prison on him.
Holy balls, what is that? I actually have to look that one up. Okay, you attempt to bind a creature. Well, only it perceives. Target succeeds, it is hold on, I gotta check and see. Nope, he is not immune to being charmed. So that's in your favor. A successful save. Oh, you do psychic damage to him too.
Yes.
Takes on a failed save. Wait. Okay, yeah. Okay, blah blah blah. So he's restrained for the spell's duration?
Which is a minute.
Restrained creature speed becomes 0. Attack rolls against the creature have advantage. And his attack rolls have disadvantage. And the creature has disadvantage. Okay.
Also, if he tries to reach through this illusion, he takes even more psychic damage.
Holy crap. That's a crazy spell. That's a 6th level spell.
Yeah.
All right. The Davies thwarting my beholders all left and right. First it was Connor, and now it's Megan. All right. So what's the psychic damage?
Yeah, 26 points of psychic damage as well.
All right. Belcourse is burning! Ah, the fire, the flames, they are so real! Well, of course, it's kind of a jackass, too. Got Mike with that one. These flames are definitely real and not an illusion. Ow! Yeah, the eye stalks are flailing as he's moving around the top of this dome affected by this. Actually, he's not moving because he's restrained, so he's just holding place, but his eye stalks are flailing around. That means that attack rolls against Belcors now have advantage. And it is Vale's turn.
All right. Well, I was going to do something, but I guess I don't need to do it now. Oh, but wait a minute.
And just so you know, Megan, I checked before you took your turn, and you happen to be outside of his anti-magic cone. Just because I know some people are going to be like, but beholders have anti-magic. I know where he's looking, and you happen to be outside of his anti-magic effect.
Dope. Well, I am also going to cast a spell. And I'm going to cast it at 3rd level. And I'm going to be casting Moonbeam right where he is. And seeing as how he can't really try and do anything for a minute, you know, it's going to be a thing. Oh, and seeing as how it's going to start its turn there, it is, you know, engulfed in ghostly flame light, causing searing pain. Got to make a con save. This time it's going to be, instead of 2d10, it's going to be 3d10 every time it starts. Trying to look at what else it's got here. It doesn't matter. That doesn't matter. Okay, yeah.
So, but he won't take that damage until the start of his turn.
That's correct. Once he begins his turn in there, he'll be taking 3d10 radiant.
He gets a con save. Checking. That doesn't. It's not affected by the mental prison. Okay. Perfect. Taliel.
So the first thing Taliel wants to do as a bonus action, she's going to pull her second wind.
All right.
Gather herself back up from this nasty shot that just hit her. And then she is going to loose 3 more arrows upon this creature.
And those are at advantage because of the mental prison.
Okay, so the first one is a 23.
Yep.
Then we have a 27 and then a 20.
Yeah, all 3 of those are going to hit.
Okay, so 3 arrows are coming at it. 3. Okay, and the first one as it hits, it's going to be rapidly followed by the other 2, but the first one bursts upon it. So I'm doing an arcane shot, and so when the first one hits, it kind of explodes, and it's going to take an additional damage. So I'm going to roll damage. Oh, those are nice numbers. I like those. Okay, so for the arrow, the first arrow does 14 magical piercing plus 8 force.
22.
Then the second arrow does 14 magical piercing. And then the last one does 11 magical piercing.
You see these arrows just sink in and begin riddling his body with arrow wounds. Blood is dripping down from the center of the room from the beholder, whose turn it now is.
If it's still alive, actually, I'm going to blow my action surge to shoot.
Yeah, he's still alive.
Yeah, so we're going to shoot 3 more times.
Oh,
that's a crit.
Oh, so as a reminder, in my games, crits are automatic max damage, then roll your damage dice. Of course, you could spend 5 domain dice and turn that into a super crit. That'd almost be a waste, though, on a crit. Because you can turn any hit into a super crit, but
Okay, so that first shot, you said max damage, then plus roll, right?
yeah, max damage plus your modifiers, and then you roll damage dice one more time.
Okay, so that will be 27 magical piercing on
Wow.
that shot.
Okay.
Second shot is a 29.
Yep.
And then the third one, another crit. Oh, I love this advantage
Holy
stuff.
crap. Okay, roll the non-crit attack first.
That will be 8 points of piercing.
All right, and then roll that crit.
Another 27.
27. And looks like Skates was here, just dropped 777 bits. So you're going to get another domain dice. Thank you, Skates was here, for that. That magical number. Okay.
And that is it for me.
It is still standing. However, it is in the moonbeam.
Belcours is in pain! Belcours just wanted to destroy you. Why wouldn't you let me destroy you?
Vale, roll that 3d10 radiant damage from that moonbeam. You are muted. Megan's done it twice. I was waiting for Mike to do it.
Oh, I know. I just wanted to. I was just mumbling and putting them all together. I got 20 points of radiant damage.
Vale Istafall, what does it look like as you finish off Belcours the Beholder?
As the light goes, it starts at the eye stalks like slow burning wicks begin to like light on fire and just burn up through, and it just begins like just starting slowly and painfully as it squeals and screams and just burns, shriveling up into a dried spherical husk of itself. As it falls the 50 feet, it kind of explodes into dust and bone, and that's it. It's dead.
You have defeated Belcours the Beholder, who appeared to be the guardian of some sort of vault of Serac. As the remnants of the Beholder disperse around the room, you realize, one, in just a moment I will tell you what all the rest of the treasure in here that now belongs to you is. 2, this would make a mighty fine place to take a long rest. And 3, once rested, you will become just a little more powerful, as you have now reached level 12. So first, I'm going to tell you what additional treasures you have encountered. Then I will have you each roll your hit points, unless you choose to take the average, so we can all hear what your hit point increase is. And finally, I'm just going to gloat over the fact that Connor, as Qualu, only did 2 points of damage versus this Beholder. In a previous game on Mini Terrain Domain called Monster Hunters Hydra, Connor used my own tactics against me and poisoned my Beholder, and then they just destroyed him with nary a second thought. This time Megan put a hurtin' on it, and then Taliel just did a crap ton of damage with magical arrows, and Vale with that clutch moonbeam finished him off. He had 180 hit points. Vale, you pushed him up to 188. So well fought, you all. Here is the rest of the. So you got the 5,000 copper or silver pieces. You got the gold coronet. Vale, did I tell you what you got?
Yes, I got a bead of force.
Okay, so in the other alcoves, you find 12,000 copper pieces, 2,200 gold pieces, a clay chameleon statue covered in crystal beads that change color. I'll drop all of this in the chat too for you. In fact, I'll put it in our group chat so that we have a record of it. That's worth about 25 gold pieces. 3 painted gold masks sized for children and shaped like the face of a bat, a monkey, and a parrot, respectively, each worth 75 gold pieces. A potion of diminution. A potion of make you small. And a bronze shield shaped like a screaming devil's face. That is a +1 magical shield. And of course, if it's not already clear, this is where we are going to end tonight's session, episode 58, Somebody's Watching Us, of Chult of Personality. But before we go, I would like to have each of the players roll their hit dice and add their con modifier, and let's see how many additional hit points you're going to get in this level up. Kaeryn, if you had been reduced to 0 with that death ray, Taliel would have turned to dust. That's why I real quick, when you took 71 points, I real quick was going to the D&D Beyond overlay to see how many hit points you had left. You ended that encounter with not a lot. So Vale, how many additional hit points do you gain?
Gonna roll right now. 9 plus my con. Now here's a question: is it your con score, or is it your con score plus your? It's just con though, isn't it? It should just be like
your con
just
modifier.
Con.
It's just your con modifier.
Okay.
Do you have a natural 19 con, or is that a modified because of magic?
Oh, it's modified because of magic. So that's why I'm just a little bit like, you'll just need to be aware, and it should happen automatically on D&D Beyond when you readjust your score. Should things change that are giving you that extra con, it'll revert back. You'll lose that additional plus in total hit points. So your hit point max will drop if that status changes. But for now, you'll use that +4. Okay.
So you got 13 additional hit points. Qualu.
I also rolled a 9. That'll be, I think, 12 more hit points
Yep,
for me.
12 for you. I'm cheating. I'm looking at the D&D Beyond overlay and clicking on your score or your character sheets. So Brilinya, you have a +0 to con. What did you roll?
Rolled an 8.
So 8 more hit points for you, and Taliel with a +2 to con. What did you roll?
I rolled a 0, which I believe is 10.
Yes,
So,
that is a
yay.
10.
In this game, it's 0. We're meat grinder mode.
So I have a +2, so that's 12.
So 12 additional hit points. And you all will get, I have no idea what kind of benefits you get at level 12, but I know spellcasters will get additional spellcaster slots. Or you might get, do you get an increase in cantrips or any new invocations, Brilinya?
Yeah, I get 1 more invocation, but it's also an ability score increase for me. So.
Oh, nice.
Everyone is, yeah.
Yeah, that should be an ability score increase or a feat for anybody. I do allow feats. I would just like to know if you choose the feat. So, yeah. So that was, as I said, Somebody's Watching Us. Chult of Personality, Tomb of Annihilation campaign, episode 58. Thank you to everybody who tuned in tonight. Thank you to the people that hosted. We had a couple of subscriptions in there, I think. We had the 777 bits from Skates was here, which was good for a domain die. Actually, technically a domain die and a half. So I'll keep track of that for the next game. But yeah, thank you to everybody who tuned in. We love seeing you in the chat, even if we can't necessarily participate. And of course, a huge thank you, as always, to Mike, Kaeryn, Megan, and Connor. You have just completed Level 3, the Vault of Reflection of the Tomb of the Nine Gods. We will be returning next week at 8:30 p.m. Eastern for the next session, episode 59. In the meantime, be sure to tune in if we have All That Glitters tomorrow night at 8:30 on Monday. Scheduling and things like that are a little up in the air right now. But check out my Twitter feed at MTD_Jake, and I'll let you know about that. Tune in on Tuesday night at 8:30 p.m. Eastern to Dice on Ice RPG to see myself, Connor, and Kaeryn, as well as Jason. I forget. Do we have another player? We've had so many people come in and out. And Jason in Curse of Strahd, DM'd by Megan. And then this Wednesday, is this the third Wednesday? Is this you guys again? I believe we have Spire, The City Must Fall, produced by Megan and GM'd by Connor. It is the only non-D&D game happening on Mini Terrain Domain at 9 p.m. Eastern. And then Thursday is the Dawnbringers, and which Megan is also a part of, and I run that game. And then on Friday is, of course, at 10 p.m. Eastern, is CFT RPG. That's our friend Alan running his Curse of Strahd game with Lionel, Tamiko, Sam, and Chad. And they have an incredible game going on over there, running from 10 p.m. until about 1 a.m. So check everything out. Thank you, everybody, again for tuning in. We are going to go ahead and get out of here. And we are going to end this stream the same way we end every stream. And you can say it with me if you want. Hum, it's a